Okay. So as I was saying, like when we talk about Excel, okay, we have something like this, right? Let's say age, or let's say first name, last name, age, salary, okay, and whatever the name is, let's say Prashant, and let's say this Swati, Suna, and Ranga. And let's say A, B, C, whatever, okay, don't go. Whatever this is. Now, when I talk, this is what I was talking about. Okay, so when I have Excel or any other data source, you will see everything is in this rows and columns, right? So when I say this, each row is representing the information about one person, one single person. For example, the first name, last name, age, and salary is related to Prashant. Similarly, if you talk about Ranga, the row 6 is always talking about Ranga only, right? The same thing goes with column. When I talk about column, this column is actually talking about the same thing. F name is first name, it will always show the first name. Last name will always store last name. Age should always store age, and salary should always store salary. So if I click on somewhere, let's say if I click here, okay, in this part with D5. So what is it telling me? It is telling me the salary of Sudeshna, right? So why I'm able to get this information so quickly? Just because of the data, just because of the data which is already being structured. Okay, so there are two kinds of data. One is structured, the second one is unstructured. When I say unstructured, you will see the stories, or I mean the event log files, the your system event log files. Those are unstructured files. So I'll tell. I mean later in the part I will show you exactly how you work with them as well. That unstructured file as well. But Tableau is not for that actually. Tableau better works with structured files, right? So now when I say this, at the same time salary, and in the salary, let's say this is, okay, I'll do something different, a little bit different, because now we are going to do something interesting. Now this is basic. Okay, let's say you have a house rent allowance, charge, okay, of let's say 250, whatever. I'm not doing any calculation here. I'm just feeding some value here. Allowance, some other allowance. Let's say this. Okay. Okay. Now, if you see here, this is something very important. Okay. This is, if you understand this concept, you don't have to worry about anything else. Okay. Now here, if you see, you have column names. Okay. These are the column names. These are values, right? But there are again. When we talk about values, we divide them into two parts. Okay, when we talk about value, let me see. Two parts. One is dimension, and the second is measures. Now, what are these? See, these are all values, okay? But the dimensions are something on which you can categorize the value, or you can, I mean, you cannot do the calculations, direct mathematical calculations on it, okay? But this will help you to categorize something, okay? Measures are the values on which you can do some calculations. For example, okay, I'm going to give you the examples here when I This is very important thing, because this is what Tableau or any other BI tool, this is what they talk about, okay? Because if I take you to Tableau, this is Tableau, you will see there's dimensions, okay, and measures. Now, again, dimensions. Dimensions help me to categorize the values. Measures help me to do the calculations. Okay, the calculations. Now, this is just a broad way. I'm talking about the broad way. Okay, I'm not narrowing down right now, because you can do calculations. There are different string calculations that I can do, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual calculation that is meant for business. So now, what is this dimension and measure means? Here, if you look at this, as I said, these are the headers. Okay, the field names. These are the values. Now, if I say dimension, these are dimensions on which I don't do any calculation. For example, I don't do any calculation on age, right? I will not do sum of age. I don't do average of age. I may do, but as I said, it depends. It depends whether you require it or not. However, when you're talking about this first name, last name, like product category or state name, these are dimensions. So when I say categorizing, you can, let's say if I want to know New York City, okay, how many let's say how many footballs have been sold in New York City in last month? So how do I do it? When I store the information, when I store the sale information, it will be like I have a state column, I have item name, then I have whatever the, let's say, rate of that, which is kept somewhere else, then quantity, and last, let's say, and let's say date of sale. Okay, so if I say New York, the item was football, let's say rate was $100, quantity was 2, okay, and the date is, let's say, today's date or some other day. Okay, I'm talking about last month, like this thing. Now again, I am talking about some other state, let's say Washington. Again, I sold football here as well for 100. There it was costing this, and the date was same. Then again, New York, I sold football, let's say for 100 again, and this time 5, and it was sold on 5th. So when I do this, if you see, I have a long list of data. For example, it might have hundreds of New York state information, where I have New York, and then football, cricket bat, and multiple things, and then rate, quantity, and and different dates, right? So when I want to group it, right? Let's say I'm doing one more thing. Let's say I'm talking about baseball bat. Let's say $200. One. Now I have this information. Now here, if you see, dimension help me to categorize. In this case, dimensions are this, this, and this. Why I'm saying that? If I want to see how many products I don't want to see what item was it, okay, whether it was football, baseball bat, or whatever, which state it is, I don't care. I just want to see how many items I sold in or on 2nd February. Okay, so on 2nd February, so if I do that, I'll see I sold 3 footballs, right? Irrespective of the state, I'm talking about footballs, irrespective of state, it will be 3. So here, what I'm doing here is I'm just categorizing it by this. I'm saying on this date I sold only footballs. How much? How many? Sorry, 3. So if you see here, I didn't change anything on this. I didn't change anything here. All I changed was this. What is the change? This thing. I have actually some data, right? So the quantity, the rate, because I can do the calculation on rate and quantity. So all these things are measures. Whichever numbers on which you do the calculation is measure or are measure. Okay, and anything else like this. For example, if I want to see, okay, I don't care about dates. I want to see how many products were sold in New York. Okay, so it will be like this, 3, and 2 plus 5 plus 1, 8. If I say how many football were sold in New York, so it will be like New York, football, and then whatever, football, it's 7. Right? So what I'm doing is I'm categorizing it. So the football, New York, date, everything will be same. But the quantity or the calculation on rate may change. You can use it, you can do the calculation on that. Right? So anything that you can do the calculation on are measures. And other things are called dimensions. In this case, if you see, this is a dimension, this, right? And age may be a dimension. By default, Tableau will take it as a measure because it will see, okay, this is number. So I might do an average of age. I want to see in my class, what is the average age? Or in every class, let's say starting from 1st standard to 12th standard, what's an average age? Or let's say in I'm not talking about standards here. Let's say there is a group of people who are coming for a certification course, and I want to see what is the average age which come to for Tableau. So what I do is I'll drag the Tableau class, and then I will just drag the age, average of age into the report, and I will be able to see what is the average age. So I can do the calculation on this as well. But I can treat it as a dimension as well. I mean, if I want to see how many people of 32 years or between 32 and 45 years are there in Tableau class. So I can do the calculation on that basis as well. Okay. So this is something which can be dimension, which can be measured, that depends. Okay. So it's very easy in Tableau to make something a dimension or measure. Okay. You can change it anytime, anywhere. Similarly, basic, HRA, allowance, all these things are actually for calculation purpose. So we treat them as measures. So any numbers you see, mostly any numbers you see, that is measure. Other things are dimension. So dimension help me to categorize the data. Okay. So that's it. It's a very simple formula. So that's the reason I actually opened Excel. Okay. The structure, when we talk about structure, we talk about some categories, we talk about some calculation. So when we talk about categories, the fields which help us to do categorization are called dimensions. The fields which help us to do some calculation are called measures. Okay. Now when I say this, okay, by this we are not talking about dimensions or measures for a while. We will be talking about the data source now. Okay. Now, as I said, data source is a place where you have your data stored. Now, exactly just like Excel, you have other data sources like SQL Server, Oracle, and so on and so forth. So here, if you have seen, you have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and so on and so forth, right? There are new sheets you can create. So in a database, you can have multiple tables, right? You can have multiple tables which stores the information. So that when you in Excel, it's called sheet. In a database, you can call it as a table. So the table is again divided, or you can say is marked by rows and columns. Okay, again the same structured data. So here we are calling sheets. There it's there we call it tables, and like the collection of this sheet is called this workbook. Similarly, the collection of the tables are called databases, right? So data you can, I mean, it's not exactly same because there are so many other things that is there in database. But just to easily relate things, I'm telling you that the workbook is like a database, and the sheets inside it is like table. So whatever the information you are storing here, in the same format you store it in tables also. So if I can bring the same information in Tableau, okay, you will see, I'll show you something, okay. Once you know how to connect to the data source, then you don't have to know anything else, okay, because if you can connect to Excel, you can connect to any other data source. It's so simple in Tableau. Now I'm going to tell you how. Okay, I'm going to close this. So I hope you understand the difference between dimensions and measures and what is structured and unstructured data, right? Do you need me to clarify again on this? I mean, just let me stop. I mean, if you want me to stop, just let me know. I will stop. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to take you to documents. String. So when you install Tableau, okay, so before we go to that topic, we will be discussing about data warehouse. I'm skipping all this, okay, because this we can discuss about this later part. Okay, so I am directly taking you to Tableau. So to download Tableau, you'll go to tablewsoftware.com. Okay, so Tableau software has multiple products. So as you see, they have Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server, Tableau Online, Tableau Public, and Tableau Reader. Okay, so in Tableau Desktop, they have two versions. If I go to Tableau Desktop, I'll see there are two versions, Professional Edition and the Personal Edition. Okay, if you are downloading for free, there is a limitation to number of days you can use it. Okay, that is 14 days. So you may notice that in the desktop version, okay, the first thing is you need to have a desktop version to build any report. Okay, so you need to have that. So here, if you're purchasing, you need to have either personal or professional edition. So the professional edition is for $2,000, personal edition is for $1,000 approximately. And the difference here is in personal edition, you only have a limited set of data source to which you can connect to, like Access, Excel, Azure Marketplace, this is Windows Cloud, OData, again, and Open Data from Microsoft, then Tableau Data Extract, and text file. Okay, text file in CSV format is just like a comma separated file which you can open in Excel. So you can open that in Tableau as well. Now what is Tableau Data Extract is like if you have open, for example, I have access to a bigger version. For example, I have access to Professional Edition. Okay, and you guys have access to Personal Edition. Now you are asking me to give a set of data between, let's say, January 2014 and between January and December 2014. Okay, you need that entire set, but that is available in some other data source. For example, SQL Server. That is available in SQL Server, but you don't have, as you have a personal edition, you don't have access to SQL Server data, right? So what I can do here is I'll open the data source in my Tableau. I can extract the data, create a TDE file and extract file and pass it on to you. I'll send it to you. Once it is there, it's a compressed Tableau extract file. Once it is there, you can actually use it into your reportings. So Tableau extract is like I'm extracting and sending it to you, and you are using that extract. Okay, so you can do that. But in a large organization, I mean, you cannot restrict yourself with this, right? You have to have, you might have to work with Oracle, Teradata, DB2. I mean, there are many things, right? Even when we talk about clouds, we have Hadoop. There are so many things here. So usually organizations buy Professional Edition. Okay, the Professional Edition can open almost all the data sources, all different kind of data sources. Even if you don't have the connection to that data source, there is an ODBC. I mean, it is actually Tableau accept ODBC connection. So if you have your database can connect to ODBC, you can create an ODBC file and you can connect to that data source as well. Okay. So I'm not going into deep into the system requirement, all that stuff, because we almost have. I mean, right now, the technology that we have, the laptop or the system that we have, almost every system actually supports it. Okay, so you can go to it anytime and read about it. Now, going back to products. Now, first thing I told you about is desktop.
Sorry.
No problem.
Actually, I downloaded that version of professional thing, and I
Okay.
don't have the database access. I mean, I don't have any database access, and I don't see when I install the MicroStrategy thing. I see some default thing which was given by the MicroStrategy people itself. But coming to this, I didn't see anything by default. I mean, which
Okay. So when you're talking about MicroStrategy, when the MicroStrategy actually, you're talking about the sample files, right?
yes,
Okay. So
sample
yeah.
database. Yeah.
Right. The sample database, you might, I mean, when you have downloaded it, if you go to your documents, okay, your My
Yeah.
Documents, you will see My Tableau repository there.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, under My Tableau repository, you have workbooks.
Mm-hmm.
The folder called workbooks.
Yes.
So do you have any files there?
No, I didn't install on my current system. That's somewhere
Oh,
else.
okay. All right. So even if you don't find it here, you don't have to worry about it, because you just have to Google for, just Google Tableau sample files, and you will find many. Yeah, we already, yeah, Tableau sample data. Okay, so here you have sample data sets, or you have a better one here. So here, Olympic athletes. Okay, this is medal won by Olympic athletes. These are something, I mean, the airplane board strike. So these are some data files that you can download and you can start working on it, like World Bank indicators. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have something like that. At the same time, if you go back in the Google, here you have Superstore sales. This is the one of the
Yeah.
oldest sample files that we have.
Yeah. Most of the trainers use this file. I see.
Exactly. That's because you don't have to create your own Excel file for that, and it has everything. It has everything to train the people. That is the reason when people use it. Even if you go to Learn SQL Server, you will see that there is a database called AdventureWorks. They use it because it has everything for the training purpose or for the trial purpose. So it's always better to use that instead of creating your own.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, you good?
And one more question about the workbooks. I see in the tab on the site. I see that the workbook follow the instructions in the workbook. What is the workbook is all about here?
Follow the, okay, in the workbook they said? Okay,
Yeah.
that is like when you might have seen, let me open Tableau in a new window. See, you have a learning here, right? In learning, you have training and tutorial,
Yeah.
right?
The same
Tutorial,
thing.
and, right, on demand. If you go to, let's say, calculation statistic, I'm just doing something, a date calculation, and you may need to log in. Come on. Now, you're talking about
Not here. I think
here,
it's
not here.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Not
I got it,
somewhere
I
on
got
the
it.
right. Yeah.
Right. So what happens is when you click on that, it will download a workbook, something like this. Okay. Actually, Tableau call it files a workbook. So just like Excel, you know, I mean, when you click on open, when you click a new button in Excel, you actually create a blank workbook here,
Okay.
right? Workbook has multiple sheets. Similarly, Tableau's file is called a workbook,
Okay.
okay? And it might have multiple sheets here. See, these are the sheets, different sheets. So this sheet actually, and what you're looking at here is a dashboard. So this dashboard has 1, 2, 3, 3 sheets on one dashboard. Okay, interacting to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So when they say, okay, open the workbook, you will see a link for Tableau file. Just open that file and you can do what they are saying.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. No problem. Okay. So I'm taking you back to the site, okay, because I just want to see what are the products they have, but it will be easy for you to understand, okay. Then now, coming back to Tableau, from Tableau Desktop, you have seen that Tableau Desktop has 2 versions. One is personal, one is professional edition. The difference between personal and professional is just everything else is same. It's just that it has more access to different kind of data sources when compared to personal version. Personal version has a very limitation, very small set of data source connectivity. For example, if you have seen, mostly connect to Microsoft products, okay, like Access, Excel, Microsoft Azure, which is their cloud, and then a regular CSV file which can be created anywhere, even in the Notepad, okay, and Tableau's extract. So you understand what extract is, right? It's like if somebody has a professional version, they create an extract for you, a data extract. They send it to you. You can open it in your report using that option. Now, second thing is Tableau server. Now, when I create a report on my system, you might have seen let's say I'm working in an organization. If I have a Tableau Desktop professional version, that is because I have paid $2,000 for that, almost $1999 for that. Okay, but my company cannot afford to have to provide everyone the access to that much amount, right? The software which is costing so much. Like I cannot give $2,000 for each and every employee just to view the reports, because I might be the person who is actually creating the report. But how will the other person see the report? It's not like Excel that I actually go and send the file to them and they will open it into the personal or professional edition. Even if they have personal edition, they won't be able to open it if I have created in SQL Server. My data source is SQL Server, because personal edition do not support it, right? So what is the best way to share it? The best way to share it is, if you have a Tableau server, you publish your data or your report onto Tableau server. Okay, and grant access to your report. To everybody who you need to have the interactor access, who can actually view the report. Just grant them the access on the site, on the server, and give the link. Once you publish it, you will see it's a very easy thing. It's a very, very easy thing to publish a report on Tableau. Once you create a report, you just have to select the server name, publish it. That's it. You will get a link. Just send the link to everybody. For example, if we are already here. So what I will do here is, let's say sample data set. We go here. So this is, if you see, this is Tableau Public. This is one of the versions that they have, one of the products that they have. So now, if you see, this is the report. So when you publish this report, you will see few links like this. Okay, so if I click here, I can download this report. Okay, but in your organization, your user should have access to download it. But even if they don't have, they must have, or they will have this link. This is for share. So you can copy this link and send it to anybody. So this is the link which I can use to connect to the particular report anytime. See, I just copied and pasted that thing here, and see, I have this report here. Right? So it's very easy. Once you create the report, just publish onto the server, and anybody who is having the access to that particular server, you can see the report. Now, the Tableau administrator's job, it is a Tableau administrator's job to provide access to them. You can request the Tableau administrator, okay, these are the list of people whom I want to provide access to see it, and they will give the access to them, and they just have to copy this URL to their browser. They will be able to see the report that you have created. Okay. Now we'll talk about this later. Okay. Right now I'm just talking about the products that we have. So I'm just telling you what the server's requirement is. Server is just for the sharing purpose, so that multiple people can view. Even if I don't have a professional version, personal version, or anything, I just need to have access to the server, Tableau server, that the admin can provide. Okay, and I will be able to view the report. But there is a condition again. Even to view that report, I have to pay $1,000. Okay, the interactor license costs $1,000. So again, I mean, it's not a small amount, but the big organizations, what they do is they buy a bigger license. I mean, which they call as core server license. So when your server has a core server license, there is no limit to number of interactors. I mean, you pay a one-time fee, and you can have n number of interactors. Okay, so when I say that big money, I'm talking about around $300,000. Okay, but big organizations have their server installed. They pay one time, and then n number of, almost you can say almost 3,000, 4,000, or let's say 12,000 employees can use Tableau server. Okay, there is no limitation to that. Now, okay, so I hope you understand what Tableau server is. Tableau server is a place where you can push the report. You don't have to buy license for everybody. Push the report, and you can share the link with the people who have the access to that server. They will be able to see the report. So it's a common place where you push the data or place the information. So I will be showing you exactly how Tableau Online or Tableau server looks like, but not now, at the end of the session. Okay. Tableau Online. Now the difference between Tableau server, Tableau Online are almost same. It's the same thing. Okay. It's just that Tableau server is managed by the company itself. Okay. For example, if you're working with let's say Microsoft, and your company Microsoft has Tableau server with them, so the Tableau server will be managed by the Microsoft people, Microsoft Tableau admin team. Okay, it is their own server. They have purchased the license, and they are managing the hardware and the software. When I say software, the Windows, everything. Okay, it's on them. But when it comes to Tableau Online is like a cloud which is managed by Tableau people. You pay the money so that you can actually, you can actually push the report there, and you can share with the people you want to. Okay, it's like within the organization, within a big organization, and this is like, I don't have much money. Okay, I'm a very small organization, but I need something like a Tableau server where I can push the report and my clients can see. Right? So this is managed by Tableau people itself. Tableau people. This is within our organization. This is for the organizational purpose, and this is for again, this is for small organizations which do not want to keep their own servers. Okay, and this is on Tableau site. This is not within the organization. This is with Tableau. Now, Tableau Public is a free software that has been provided. Okay, it's just like Tableau Personal. The only difference between Tableau Public and Tableau Personal is you cannot. Again, you can connect to the same data source which you can connect to Tableau Personal with, but in Tableau Public you cannot save the file on your desktop. You have to save it onto Tableau Public Server. Okay, Tableau Public Server is a place where there is no security. When we talk about Tableau Server, Tableau Online, this has a security. Who can view the report, who cannot view the report, and all that stuff. But in Tableau Public, there is no restrictions. There is, if I get a link of the report that has been created by, let's say, Sri, I can view it. So who usually use Tableau Public? The people who blogs, or a company who want to just share the information or share some kind of report which is a very public report, Anybody can see it. So what I'll do is I'll create a report in Tableau Public. Tableau Public look exactly like Tableau other versions. It's just that the data connectivity is very less. Okay, the source to which it can connect to are very less, just like Tableau Personal. And you cannot save it on desktop. You have to save it on Tableau Public Server. Okay, so if you see here, see this is a Tableau Public Server. So whatever you push, you have to have a account. It's the free account. You just push it there. So when you push it, it will be available here. Okay, the link you can add it onto your website. You can embed it onto your website, or you can send it to your friends, and they will be able to see it because there is no restriction to viewing. Okay, so this is, you can say this is a version. This is a free version, but without any restriction or without any security. Okay, so you should not be actually using it for your company's reporting if you don't want it to be shared with other people. Similarly, Tableau Reader are for the system or for tabs. This is just to view the report. Okay, you can actually download the file, put it under a tab, and you can view it anytime. Okay, but here in Reader's case, you cannot have a live connection to your data sources. When the Tableau Reader can be used only for those reports which has the Tableau extracts embedded. When you talk about extract, it should be embedded within the report. The file, the Excel file or any Access file which is connected from which the data is being pulled, should be attached with the file itself. I'll show you what that means. Okay, so the reader will be able to only view those kind of reports with which the data is attached. I mean, it should not be a linked connection, like I'm connecting to Oracle server. So if I pull the report, I mean, I will not be able to connect to the Oracle server back from Reader, right? So data should be extracted and then attached to this report. So if I'm downloading it onto my Reader, the data should be on my Reader itself. Okay, so these are few, or you can say the different versions. Okay, different products of Tableau, right? Now, with this, we are done with the Tableau products, different products. So now we will be talking about Tableau Desktop Professional for some time. Then we will go back to, I mean, after doing all this thing, we will talk about public. Then we will talk about online, not the server, but online, because online and server is almost same. The interface is almost same. Just when we talk about server, there are so many things to learn. Okay. So, okay, I go to here. See, you might have seen this thing, the TDS. There are few extensions that I want to discuss. Okay, when you have this file, when you create a file in Tableau, by default the extension would be TWB. Okay, Tableau Workbook. All right, Tableau Workbook. This is the basic package, basic file that is generated by Tableau. So if I am creating a report which has a connection to, let's say, Oracle or SQL Server, the file is saved but without the data. Okay, it only has the data connection information. It only has the data connection information, but not the data itself, right? So when I open this report, then it will use the connection information to connect to the Oracle or any other data source. You got it? What I'm saying? It's like you have a file, let's say this is a workbook, your Tableau workbook, and this is a database, and there is a connection. Okay, your data is coming from this Oracle. But when I save it as TWB, that is Tableau workbook, this connection information, like what server, where is the server, what is the server name, what is the username, what is the password, all this information is stored in that, and it will be saved as TWB. Okay, so this is TWB. So this connection will not be live every time. When I open this file, when I open this workbook, using the connection information, this will be reconnected. Okay, every time it will be reconnected. But when I talk about another version or another extension called, this is another file, TWBX, that is Tableau Workbook Extended. Okay, here whatever the data I am connected to, it will be tagged with this, embedded with this. So you will find the data here. So these kind of file, I mean, which has the data, okay, is called packaged file, packaged Tableau file. Okay, TWBX. So as I was talking about Tableau Reader should get TWBX file to show the data in it. Okay. So difference between TWB and TWBX is, one is without data, just the connection information, this one, and this is with the data. Okay. So sorry for this this rough images. I will be showing it later. Now coming back here. Similarly, there is another TDS. These are extract files. Okay, these are data source files. It has this is the same thing that I was talking about. These are extracts. This contains the data, the same sample superstore file. It actually, they have created the data and then extracted the data on the basis of the languages, okay, and saved as different files here. So the TDS are extract files. These are called Tableau extract. Okay, I will show you how you connect. It's very easy. And app source, I will talk about this later. Logs, okay, data source. Okay. Now, let me show you. Let me open Tableau now. Okay, now we are going to see how Tableau looks. I'm sure you have already seen it. Okay, but I'm going to open that from the beginning. So coming back to Tableau product. So as you might have seen how to download that, Tableau desktop, go to Tableau desktop, just try it for free. Okay, you can download it. So by default what you get is a limited version. Okay, I'm not going to download it, I'm just going to pause it. Okay, now once you download, once you install, okay, you have something like this. So this one that I have is a licensed one. So you will see, I mean, if I go to help, go to about Tableau, I can see this is version 8.3. Okay, I have some sample gallery. I mean, whatever. I mean, we can watch the training videos. You have different language settings that I can make here. These things I will let you know. Okay, this is one of the important things that you need to see. Now, this is the first screen. By default, you will see the saved data source which I have already used and the files that I have created or just tried. Okay, and here when I click on connect to data, okay, before that, see, I have few things here. File, okay, and I can change the repository location. By default, the repository location is under my document, my Tableau repository. I can change it, but don't do it. Just, it will be very easy for you to understand. And what they did is the best. Okay, so don't change it. Just keep it there. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, in case if you want to change, you can change it by going to File and Repository Location. All right. Now coming back, I can connect to data. When I click on connect to data, you will see that I have multiple options. Okay, so these are files. What are files? Tableau extracts. Okay, so when I click on Tableau extract, see, in data source I am going to get multiple things, right? So these are extracts. The storage one. Let's say data. So I just pulled one of the extract. here. So this is, I mean, this is something I was using earlier.
Prashant, this was the things we talked earlier, right? I mean, you downloaded all the extracts and you kept in the repository?
No, that is something that I have created. Yeah, I have created. You can create by yourself. It's very easy. See, I'll show you, but that's a later part. Okay, I mean, creating extract is something. For example, once you download the file that I'm talking about, that's an Excel file, right?
Yeah.
So I just have to click on Microsoft Excel. Okay, I can select the file which I want to. For example, let's say this Superstore sales. I click open, the open button. So what I'll see here is I'll see the sheets in it. Okay, these are sheets, order, returns.
So we drag and drop here. I got it. Yes.
Exactly. So you just have to open it. Then what you can do is you can just enter the sheet. I mean, whatever you can just play around with it then. So I just have to double click on it. It's here, right? So here, see at the bottom pane, you will see the data inside it. There's just a view, basic view, right? So I can join it from here itself. Now, when I'm talking about joining or something, right? You have connections here. See, by default, it is connected live. When it is live, that is, it is connected to the Excel file directly. So if I make any changes to that Excel file, it will be reflected here. Right? Now, if I click on extract, right? If I click on extract, see, something changes here. Extract will include all data. Now, if I'm going to save this file, what will happen here is the data in the Excel file will be pulled into Tableau and then saved as an extract file, a TDE or TDS file.
Okay, but if you make the changes, that doesn't apply here, right?
No, it will not. It will not.
It will not,
when you're creating, it will not. So when you create an extract, for example, in Tableau, the best thing is, let's say if I'm creating an extract from SQL Server, okay, my company actually work on last 1 month's data. So why would I need to connect to 3 or 4 months data, right? So I need to just have that last 1 month data. So what I'll do is I create the extract of last 1 month from SQL Server, and I'll attach with my report and send it to server, Tableau server. Everybody can use it. Now, when I publish the report at that time, I can schedule it to refresh on a daily basis also. So on a daily basis, the Tableau server will connect to SQL server to see if I have any new data there or not. So it will extract a new data, keep it there. So next day when the people come, they will be able to see the new data as well. So you can do the extract refresh also. Okay, this is extract refresh. Okay, it can be scheduled on server. It's a very easy thing. It can be scheduled on server. Okay, but we are not going deep into it. I just want to see, this is live connection. By default, it's a live connection, but I can create an extract out of it. So when I'm creating an extract, I can edit and do some things like I can filter that data. Like I want to say, I say, do you see the product name, profit, sales, region? Okay, let's say sales. Okay, now I'm saying I want to see only those sales, or I want to create an extract of only those values which has the sales of more than, let's say, $50,000. So whatever the value is going to come into that extract will be always more than, or each row will be having more than 50,000 rows. Oh, sorry, 50,000 value, the sale value, the sum of sale value will be always 50,000 and more. So what I want to tell you here is, when you create extract, even you can filter that information, or you can choose what you exactly want. For example, as I said, last 1 month's data. So in order date, I want to see, I go to relative date, or I can select any year, a particular quarter, month, or in the same way I can select relative date, like last 3 months. So when I say last 3 months, what will happen here is, when it extracts the data from Excel, it will find all the last 3 months data and then pull it into a Tableau and create the extract file of it. So if I'm passing that extract file to you, you will only be able to see the last 3 months data, because that extract will have only last 3 months data in it. You got it? So this way you can create an extract file. We will be working on it, so don't worry about it. Okay, we will be working. This is just a kind of demo thing that I'm showing you. Because we talked about extract, so I'm just showing you what extract can do. So let's come back to live connection. Okay, I'm just closing it again. I just want to show you. No. Okay, connect to data. So we have Tableau data extract. So as I was saying, assuming that, okay, connecting to Excel is very simple thing, right? Connecting to Excel is, when I say creating extract, it's very simple. Similarly, you can create this extract from SQL Server also. Okay. For example, do I have SQL Server here? Oops. Why I'm showing you this is Excel file cannot store more than 1 million or something, and because I mean there is a limitation to XLSX file, right? If I go down, this is the maximum number of rows that can be inserted. That is around 10.4 million. Oh, sorry, 1.04 million, right? These many rows. But what this is, I mean, the company with which I'm working stores approximately this much information in 1 hour, less than 1 hour. This is full, this will be full. Then what will I do, right? Because what's happening? Okay, so the organization that I work with, okay, gets more than this much information in, you can say, 1.5 hours. Okay, so I have to have a very, I mean, better data source than this. So that's the reason we use it, either SQL Server or Oracle or Teradata, different other sources, data sources, because they are powerful. They can store a big number of data, a big large chunk of data. They can store it. So why I'm saying this? I have a SQL Server here with the server name list. I'll copy here. Okay. So when it comes to Excel file, it's very easy for me to open the Excel file from Tableau and do the extract. But that is not my concern, because just when I'm working with a small number of, let's say, 1 million row, it's fine, it's okay. Okay, but when it comes to working with SQL Server, where my data every day it's like 10 million or let's say 20 million, we're talking about 20 million rows in a day, or even let's say even in half the day we are getting 20 million rows, it's fine, because what we have to do here is we just have to connect to that server. Okay, I'll connect. See here, this is the server name that I'm using. I just turn on the server. Now I'm not going to use any particular server name because I'm using the Windows authentication, using which I logged into this computer, and I just connect. So when I click on connect, see I'm connected. So isn't it exactly like Excel file? The same way. Okay, it's just that in Excel file you are providing the name of the file. It asks you to select the name of the file, click OK. Here it's asking me to put the server name. Okay, it's just like a server name where the server, where the database lies. Then I provide my username, password. By default it's Windows authentication. When I connect to it, you will see different databases in it. See, these are the different databases. Right? So AdventureWorks is one of them. So let's say if I'm talking about AdventureWorks, you will see many tables, many sheets here, or you can say many tables here. So this is in Excel, like you have workbook and multiple sheets in it. In SQL Server or any other data source, you have a database, and in it you have multiple tables. So let's say person. I want to see what person contains. So if I double click on it, you will see I will get their information, the person information, like the last name, suffix, and whatever, right? Modified data and all that stuff. So this is the information about that person. So now, assuming that I made a calculation, I made different connections, and now I have a proper query ready. Okay, let's say once I get the query ready, I have to extract this data here. Okay, I can create an extract out of it. Let's say all the person first name, the people who has the first name as, let's say, Alice. I'm selecting Alice because let's say Alexander. Okay, click OK, and okay, go to worksheet. See, now when I click on go to worksheet, it is asking me to give the name to this extract file. So if I connect to this extract file in future, or if I give it to you, and you try to open this extract file in in Tableau, you will only see the people who has their first name as Alexander. Okay, so right now I'm going to just save it. So now you will see I'll click on go to worksheet. Now it's importing the data. Just pulling the data. Let's see. Now you'll see that if I right click on this data source, this is the data source name that I gave. I can rename it anytime. Okay, I can give it any name. Now if you see here, it says use extract is checked. That means it is actually extracting the it is using the extract. It is not a live connection, but it is using an extract now. So if I click on first name, see all names are Alexander. If I go to last name, so these are so many people. These are the people who has a name, first name as Alexander. Right? So you see what's happening here is Tableau has created its own file, TDE file, okay, with the information that I require. So if I want last 1 month's data, I can select the date. I will say last 1 month's data, and the people will be able to see the last month data, so that I can create the extract out of it. You got it? You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now coming back, we are going to connect to, as I said, the sample file. This is again the subset of it. We'll be talking about. Oops. I'll close the SQL Server, Excel. I'm going to use it Superstore subset. Okay, and now orders. Okay, when I say return, if I want to know how many orders were returned, I can double click on returns. I drag it here, and I can make a connection here. See, now if I want to check order ID and order ID returns, so it shows that how many orders have been returned. If I use this table, I'll be able to see how many orders were returned. Right. So right now I'm just going directly to the worksheet. Not going to use extract or anything else. Just going to the worksheet. So this is how your Tableau desktop looks like. Now, as I was saying, these are the dimensions. Dimensions are used for the categorization purpose, and these are the numbers. See, in front of numbers, you have the hash sign, the pound symbol. In front of any mapping information, like latitude, longitude, you have this globes. Okay. Any strings, you have this ABC, and the dates has this calendar. Okay, I can change. Let's say if I say the region is actually a postal information, or let's say it's a geographical information, I can right click and I can change it to anything here. Okay, but I'm not sure whether it's the same thing. Region is the same one or not. So I just drag it here, and I want to see whether the region is the same one I was thinking. Okay, so I can just drag it here, and I'll get the information.
The queries are automatically executed, right?
When you say queries, what does that mean?
I mean, we need not to write it.
Data pool? Exactly. That's the best part of it. If you want to write the query, you can write it. So for example, if I'm connecting to SQL Server, okay, I'm just going back, okay? Or let's say, yeah, I'll show you. In the newer version, when I say newer version, starting from 8.2, okay, they have a different kind of connections. Let's say I'm connecting to Microsoft Excel. Now I'm connecting to this subset, right? If I click on open button, it will open and show me the sheet name. But what if I want to write the query in Excel? You got it? If I want to write a query, a SQL query in Excel, I need to, instead of directly clicking on open, I just have to select this drop down, and I will select open with legacy connection. When I do this, I'll see the same thing but with a new link, new custom SQL, okay, where I can write the query like select star from, and here orders is a sheet name. So in Excel, when you try to pull the sheet name, you have to put $ at the end. Okay, I can preview the result. See, it's pulling the report from. Here we go. So I can write the queries here, like where, what was the name? I don't remember. Let's say city is Edison, where city. So now you see all the cities, it will bring only those which have city name Edison, right? So I can write the queries like this. So it's not limited to only big database, big data sources. You can write the query for Excel also if you know the writing queries. You know writing queries?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great, great. So the same thing, if I'm connecting to any other data source, you will get that SQL query option, new SQL query option by default. For example, in SQL Server.
But when we do this drag and drop business also, it should automatically generate some query somewhere, right?
No, it won't.
It won't? Okay.
It won't. It won't. Yeah. So if you need that kind of query to be designed, what you can do is you can go back to your data source, create a view. Okay, you will by default you will get the query there from there. Then you can bring it here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here, this is what I was talking about. If I'm selecting a database, I'll see a new custom queries, custom SQL here. Okay. So with any bigger data source database, you will get this new custom SQL. So you can write your custom SQL here.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Okay. So earlier you used to have. I mean, when I say earlier, I'm talking about version 7. You used to have like when you join, and then you go to new custom SQL. You were able to see the query, but no longer now. I mean, it's not available now.
Okay, got it. Because I heard that.
Right, but it's in the version 7 and before. Not in 8 and I mean they stopped from 8 actually.
Okay.
Okay, so coming back to ours. I'll tell you about the filters and all that stuff. Okay, but before that, I want to share something. So you know. Okay. So, okay. So you remember we were talking about dimensions and measures. So these are the measures on which you can do the calculation. For example, if I want to see in a particular region, like if you have seen, we have 4 regions here, like East, West, and those are the regions which we have in this particular sample file, right? The East, West, South, and Central. Now, if I want to see what is the sale, what was the sale during, I mean, in these regions. So if I just drag, I just have to drag and drop it into this area, okay? So I'll do that one more time, but before that, I wanted to tell you what exactly these are. Rows, these are called shelves, or these are cards, okay? These are called cards. Marks, these are also cards. I mean, this place is called card, right? You have legend card, you have filter card. There are many other cards, okay? Within this, these are called marks. Okay. This is filter card, this is page card, this is column card, okay? Column card, or you can say shelf. This is the shelf where you are going to place the these field names, okay? So if I place something, a field in the region area, I'll see it in the rows, right? Because it's row. Now when I say row, this is not a column. Remember, this is not a column because we are not going up to from up to down. We are actually going left to right. For example, if I now drag a product category here next to region, see what it's going to do here is, okay, don't get confused with Excel now. Okay, it's unlike Excel. You are not going to get a region and then category. It's like in Central you have 3. In Eastern you have 3 product category, so and so forth. Okay, so it's like you're going deep. Yeah. So in this region, for example, if I don't have furniture in East region, you don't see it here. You will just see East for office supplies and technology. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm placing rows, and now I want to see city. I have city. Where is state? Do you see state? Here we go. Now I want to see here in region. See, it will automatically give me the central region. This is the state. This is the state. Okay, and if I go down, I might see that in a particular region. Okay, all the region has everything. Oh, sorry, all the state has all these 3 product categories. So I'm not going to deal with it. I will say I will check something else. Customer segment. See, we see in Eastern region, Delaware only has a consumer segment, right? So this is the information that we are breaking it down. I mean, I want to see, okay, in Eastern region, okay, the state, Delaware has only consumer segment, okay, whereas the Connecticut, Maine, or District of Columbia all has that 4 segment that we are looking for, right? Now, when I'm talking about this, actually, this is not the information that I'm looking for. Actually, I'm looking for the sales information. So if I drag and drop the sales information, like see, this is called this ABC, the place where we see this ABC. This is called a placeholder, okay, where you keep your measures or the values that are being calculated. For example, when I say drag and drop the sales information, by default, it's a sum of sales. Okay, by default, it's a sum of sales. So I'll see that in central region, let's say Indiana, in consumer segment, actually we made $23,368. Got it?
Yeah.
Right. So here we are talking about 3 segments. Let's say I'm removing this consumer segment. I just have to just remove it. I just dragged it outside and it's out. Okay. So I'm getting the sales information. Now let's say I want to break that into multiple product category. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to drag product category and putting it into columns. So when I put this into the column, I mean the product category has 3 different categories here: office, supplies, furniture, and technology.
Yeah.
Right. Now you see that in product category, so it's like in central region, the state is Missouri, and in office supply we sold $42,075 worth of product. Right. So we can actually drill down like this. So in product category, now if I want to know the product name as well, I can just put it here. So it's like under furniture. These are the things that comes under furniture. Okay. Then if I go down, see these are the things which comes under office supply. So, but this is not a good view. Frankly speaking, it's not a good view. I'm just telling you for the sake of saying. Okay. It's not the right view. So in I just remove this here from here. You got it? What I'm trying to say? So it's very simple. You just have to drag in and I mean, just if you don't want something, you can just pull it out. That's it. As simple as that. Now, so this is shelves. These are column shelves. These are row shelves. Okay, these are different filters. Now, what if I want to see the information that we are looking here is of a particular date, a set of date, right? When I say Texas Central, or let's say Texas furniture. The sale of furnitures in Texas was for 143,307. Okay, the total sum is 143,307. But is it for a year? Is it for half of year or quarter? Or I mean, what is it? I'm not sure, right? Because we are just dragging it. We are not talking about date. So when we're not talking about date or anything, that shows that it is actually the sum of all the dates, starting from whatever we have in the data source, everything, be it in 2009, 2014, 2015, whatever. It's the sum of all the sales, right? But what if I want to restrict that? I want to see the sale in 2013 only. So what I can do here is I have ordered it.
This? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, please. I'm sorry.
Can we do this on the sum of sales? We have something, I see something there in the sum of sales under marks. Yeah, can we keep the filter there?
Filter has its own card, so you don't have to put the filter here. But okay, what on which basis you want to filter? Date,
We
right?
can say, yeah.
Right. So you can drag, actually you can drag this date or the date into filter. So remember, whenever you have to do some filter, you just have to drag it here in the filter, filter box, filter card. Okay, so when I place it here, I drop it, I'll get the options, like on what basis, years, quarter, range,
Yeah.
relatives, whatever. So here I'm talking about 2013, right? 2013 is a year. So I select year and go to next, I'll select 2013 and click OK. So this is the value. Now see, the text has changed, right? This is the value that I'm looking for. In 2013, in Texas, the furniture sale was 41016. If I remove this filter, see, removing is also very easy. I don't have to do anything. I just have to drag it, put it somewhere out, right?
Yeah.
So it's the filter is very easy. Now again, what if I want to give the user the option to select the year, right? So you have seen that, okay, I just dragged it here, drag and drop it here, selected the year, chose 2013 and clicked OK. Now this is 2013 information. But what if I want user to see it or user to select it? It's a very simple thing. What I have to do here is, in this filter, I can right click over the filter, right click, show quick filter. When I do this, see, I get this option. And the option that I see here will be visible to the user as well. Okay, so I can uncheck, check 2012, see this is 2011 and so on and so forth. I can select multiple also. But what if I want to, I want user to select only one. So you can restrict by, selecting this drop down and say that, okay, I just want a single value drop down or single value list instead of multiple. So when I do this, see, user cannot select more than one values. Okay? So this is the option that they can select. If they want to see all, they can see all. They need to click the all button here. But what if I want them not to see all? So I can do that. I can go to this customize option. I can uncheck this show all value. Okay, and they will not see. Once I select this, they won't see any all value here.
Okay.
So you can customize. It's just on your fingertip. You are not actually doing a big calculation, or you don't have to work a lot on this, right? You're just connecting to the data source and you are playing around with it. Now, when it comes to MicroStrategy, the problem with the MicroStrategy is even they have a visual tool, just like Tableau, okay? But before you use that tool, you have to have a background or you have to have a schema of that particular, this kind of dimensions and measures already set up.
Yeah.
If you don't have it set up, there will be a problem here. Now, in this case, the best thing about Tableau is you don't have to worry about the schemas or the structure, data structure. If I go back to sample this particular file, and if I remove, let's say, product name, and I come back here, you will see that it become red. Okay, it will become red. So what you have to do is, if it's used in this report, you can replace it with any other field, or you can just right click and remove it. Delete it. Where is it? Hide. Where is the hide? Okay, I'm not using it, so doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So now coming back to, I'll discuss about this now. Okay. Coming back to this filter. I don't have to actually, I was telling you, right? If I want to filter, I can filter on anything. Not only dimension, I can filter on measures also. Okay. Now, but before going to that depth, I just want to tell you, you can actually, you understand what the dimensions are now, right? These are for categorization purpose. For example, if I want to see what this is under Central Region, Minnesota, and the sale of furniture. Okay, the sum of the sales of furniture is this. Right? So this is helping me to categorize this. So dimensions are helpful for categorization purpose, whereas the measures are for calculation purpose. Give me the summation or aggregation. You can say aggregation purpose. It is used for aggregation purpose. There are different kind of aggregation like sum, average, median, count, or minimum, maximum. So I will talk about standard deviation and variance later. So these are multiple options that you have. So if I want to see the profit as well, what I have to do is I just have to drag it and drop it inside. Oh, I think my mouse is okay, right? Here we go. So if I drag and drop inside this placeholder, I will see the profit and sales. Now I don't want the I don't want to display it like this, the profit and sale. I want to show it as sales and profit. So again, it's very simple. Just drag sales and put it on top of profit in the measure value. Here we go. All right. Now I want to see all the profits. I mean, all the profit in negative should be red, or everything should be red. That particular row should be red. So what I just have to see. This is the funniest part about this marks here. Okay. When we talk about marks, mark has color, size, text, and all that stuff. So if I see that, okay, I want the size of this text should be based on the sales, sum of sales. So I'll just put it into size. So it shows the symbol. See, this is the size symbol. So the size symbol is based on sum of sales, right? So depending on that, you will see a big and small boxes. Do you see this? See, this is big value, so the font is a little bigger. If it's a small value, it will be very small. Okay, but this is not what I'm supposed to do, because I actually wanted to show you something else. So instead of placing the sum into the size in it, when we are talking about text, instead of placing it here, the sum of sales should be in the color. So the color will show starting from 700. I mean, I have values starting from 700 to 517,378. Okay, so the greater the value is, the darker it will be. Right, here we go. So instead of sum of sales, I can drop the profit also. So instead of this, I'm putting this here. So I can see if it's a gray is okay, fine. The darker it is, more profiteer it is for me. The lighter or the pinkish shade it is, I mean, I'm losing money there, right? So it's on profit basis. So it's just a drag and drop thing. Now similarly, I mean, when will this be helpful? I'll show you a report here. It's a very simple report, depending on the map. I would say, yep, map. So I'll say here we go. We have some states here, and I just want to show the sales. You might have seen it in the video, okay, but I'm telling you this again so that you can understand the colors and the size and all that stuff, the use of it. Now I have this. Now if I go to the show me button here on top,
Yeah.
right? Show me is actually the different kind of charts it supports. So if I have this value, you will see some of them are enabled, some of them are disabled or grayed out. So the one which is grayed out, which are grayed out, are something which cannot be applied on this data. This is simple meaning. Okay? You don't have
Only
to worry
on
about
this
it.
particular method.
Exactly. Only on this particular view, because we only have two things: one measure, one dimension. One measure is sum, sales. The second the dimension is state, right? So we only have one dimension, one state. So all those charts which can be prepared using one dimension and one measure will be enabled. Something, for example, in this case, you see, it should have one date for this particular report, right? It should have one date here. It's saying that it should have one date. So we are not working with date right now. We don't have the date column pulled into this particular report. So these are disabled. Got it? So if I pull the date here, you will see these are enabled now.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll just drop it out. Now you might have seen when I'm talking about state, where a state is in the format of that, you will see that geographical icon there, right? The globe icon there. So you have this, whenever you have this globe, you will see this maps enabled. So if I click on this map, it will automatically convert my regular report into a proper map with the values here, the circles here. So this circle, the size of this circle is showing the sum of sales. So the bigger it is, the more sales I did on that particular area. For example, if I look, I mean, just by the look of this area, I mean, if I want to increase, I mean, I'm not able to see it properly. So what I can do here is I will go to the size mark, click on it, and I'll just increase the size from here. But when I'm doing it, I see that Maryland and District of Columbia are actually getting merged. So I just don't want to do it. So I'll go to colors, and I will say I need a border or a halo. Let's say I click a border. Do you see that? I mean,
Yeah.
right? There is a now there, because of the border, I will be able to see the difference between these two. These two values are now visible. Otherwise, I mean, if I don't do the border, I mean, it's like a merged one. I'm not much clear about it. So I can use something which will make it more clear. Okay. So now looking at this report, I will be able to see I will be able to tell you exactly where my sales were up, sales were up, and where I was little down. Okay. For example, if I see in Delaware, it's hardly sales were 3543. Now again, we are not filtering on date basis, so we are actually pulling all the data, all the dates that we have in database, right? All the records in database. Here we have most sales, like it's by the look of this or the size of this circle, I can say sales in California are on the top. But it is not necessary that if I have a very good sale, I will be having a very good profit as well. It is possible that my sales are good, but my profit is less. So what I can do here is, I can put, just to view that kind of report, I can put the profit into color. Right? By looking at this, I'll see, okay, here, though California is bigger than other state, but color-wise, see, Illinois is doing good, right? The profit is 127 here, 127K, and here it's 86 only. You got it? So this is actually giving me a visual information. So this is the best part of Tableau or any other visualization tool. You don't have to look into the characters, you don't have to look into the data at all. Just by looking at this, I can say, where my sales are up, where my profits are up, in which state my profits are up. Now if I look at this, I see that though the sales are lesser than California, the profit, I'm getting more profit than, I'm more profit here, this location, right? Illinois, right? So these kind of, so now, if I want to see the same thing, if I want to talk about this area, okay, this is Mississippi. Now I see that, okay, my sales are less, my profit is going down. What might be the reason? Okay, when we'll be talking about maps, there are some maps which give me more information, like the population information as well. So if I'm pulling the population information in this map, I can tell, okay, it might be possible that the population is fewer in this particular area. That might be the reason why my sales are lower than other states. Right? So these are many information that you can churn out and put into one particular report. Now as a tip, I can give you one tip here. Okay, you can use it anywhere. It's not related to Tableau. It is a very